Today on 9.99, you wouldn't believe the animals you can find around the 5 boroughs. Where are these gals? Stay tuned to find out. Hey everyone, I'm Dave Evans, and welcome to 9.99, the show that takes you around the city, shows you all the neat things you could do for under 10 bucks. And today, it's all about the animals. We'll take you all over the city to meet some interesting creatures, like here at a farm where they've been raising animals for over 300 years. But before we make friends here, let's visit the biggest little zoo in New York City. On the North Shore of Staten Island, and just a 10-minute bus ride from the ferry, you can find one of the best-priced animal experiences in New York City. At just 8 acres, the Staten Island Zoo may sound cozy, but it's home to 1,100 critters from every kind and every habitat. You can find rainforest toucans, to Australian emus, to a regional fella who is known to predict the weather. And have you ever seen a real black swan? But when it comes to reptiles, well, Staten Island has the mother lode in residence, especially rattlesnakes.
We had, at one point, the world's largest collection of rattlesnakes and the most complete collection of rattlesnakes in the world. And we're actually trying to get back to that point. So right now we have about 40 rattlesnakes in the collection, representing most of the species that are out there.
If snakes aren't your cup of tea, you have your pick of the sweet and cuddly and the big and woolly, with lots of human animals on hand to assist.
Why is he wiggling his nose like that?
Of all the zoos in the boroughs of New York, the Staten Island Zoo may be the most user-friendly.
What makes Staten Island Zoo stand apart from all of the other zoos is we're our own entity run by the Staten Island Zoological Society, and we're so tight-knit, we have such a nice community around us that everyone knows who we are, and we have a greater opportunity to share with our community the animals that we can, the animals for conservation.
But the focus at the zoo is about more than providing a place to see and pet animals. It's also about how to preserve their habitats, and in some cases, their very existence. This Yangtze alligator is one creature on the verge of extinction. It's estimated there's only 130 of these guys left in farm ponds off the Yangtze River, and thanks to docents like Liz O'Connell, that knowledge is being shared with visitors every day.
We really enjoy making the public aware of all the different animals that are out there and show them the reason why conservation is so important. People that live in cities in particular are actually very distant from farms, and so they oftentimes don't get a chance to actually see where their food is coming from, where the milk that we get, the fur, the wool, and the meat products.
And what better way to understand wild creatures than getting to know them up close and personal?
She really loves hard-boiled eggs.
I've never seen one so close before. Tell me about who we have here.
So this is Cece. She is our Hoffman's two-toed sloth.
What is a sloth?
A sloth is a very slow creature that lives in the tropical forests of Central and South America.
Is a sloth in the monkey family? Is a sloth in...
Well, actually, these guys are in a group called Xenarthrans, or Edentata. Those are animals that are very related to anteaters and armadillos.
Okay.
And so that's their closest living relative.
How is this sloth so cool with goats and alpacas?
You know, she happens to be one of our calmest animals. You can do pretty much anything to her, and she'll just relax. A lot of people come by and take pictures of her, look at her through the windows, and she's a ham. She'll hang out and look out the window as well.
Doc, thanks so much. This has been a great day out at the zoo.
Absolutely, it was my pleasure talking to you.
And for more information on how you can visit the Staten Island Zoo and see her, check this out. Meet some new creatures and learn about wildlife conservation at the Staten Island Zoo. Just $8 for adults and $5 for kids. Now that's a wild bargain. Our city zoos work really hard to make sure the animals feel like they're home. But at a place I know in Queens, the animals really are home. The Queens County Farm Museum, just off the Little Neck Parkway in Floral Park, gives you a real glimpse of farm life from 200 years ago. It's an agricultural oasis within the borders of New York City. Established as a museum in the 1970s, the farm is home to all those critters you can name in the old MacDonald kids song.
We have cows, sheep, goats, pigs, and chickens, and a couple of alpaca.
These guys are the main reason more than 200,000 New York City school kids come here to visit every year.
Usually kids don't get to see them like this. So here, they get to see them in their natural environment. You'll notice we don't ring the nose. Most of your farms always will put the ring in the nose so the pigs can't root up the ground, but we let them do what they want to do naturally and root. And they're very playful, so the kids really enjoy them.
Todd's not from Queens, as you might have guessed. That's Tennessee you're hearing.
I grew up in farm country. I was able to have my own pigs, my own cows, horses, goats, chickens, rabbits. I had everything. So those kids where I'm from, they see it all the time. It's nothing, but here the kids just light up. When they see something, they're just amazed. And it's really something special whenever you can share that with them here in the city.
And sometimes it's the animals that get excited. This little guy sure likes our cameraman a lot.
Okay.
For many kids, it's not just the first time they're feeding a farm animal, but the first time they've ever seen one.
It's an amazing experience when a kid from another borough of New York comes here and all of a sudden there's this exclamation, "Oh my gosh, that's a goat," or "Oh my goodness, that's what a sheep actually looks like." You know, their experience of those animals has probably been relatively limited. So when a school group comes, we talk about cheese, we talk about milk, we also talk about the fact that a farm family would keep a cow in order to survive the winter. We talk about, of course, with the chickens, about how many eggs they lay and how we collect those eggs, and really try to give people a sense of, you know, a chicken is a living being that serves a purpose and has a particular kind of life and isn't just represented by chicken nuggets.
That's why the Queens County Farm offers so many educational programs for kids and adults that focus on agriculture.
But an average day, we're talking about education programs for 200,000 students a year. We have obviously ongoing farm activities. We produce almost 200 varieties of fruits and vegetables. We have farm fresh eggs every day. On weekends, you can come and take a hayride. During the week, you can come and feed our animals alfalfa, which we've been doing with the cow to keep her standing here. And basically, we have a composting program for the community. It's basically, you can come and participate as a volunteer if you'd like as well, and essentially enjoy a working farm in the middle of the city.
Everything produced at the farm can be purchased at the gift and plant shop. Honey from the farm hive, fresh herbs, wine, and plants. They even sell yarn made from the wool-bearing residents. City slickers can also find Queens County farm products at the Union Square Market on 14th Street. So Gary, we're budget conscious on this show. Tell me what a visit to the Queens County Farm costs.
Well, we just ask people to give a donation for the animal feed. I think it's $2 or $3 for a bucket, and you get to keep the bucket.
It is a fantastic way to feel like you're escaping the city without leaving the 5 boroughs.
Absolutely.
Every farm requires lots of work and chores. We'll learn about that when we come back to the farm in a few minutes. But over in Brooklyn, we found a few four-legged friends who deserve some special attention of their own. We all know having a pet full-time in the city is a commitment that not everyone can do. But I know just the place right here in Williamsburg where you can spend time with a sweetie like this and do a good deed in the process. Right, Pauline? Come on. Do you want to spend some quality time with furry friends but don't want your budget going to the dogs? Help out these cuties at a place called BARK, the Brooklyn Animal Resource Coalition, right on Wythe Avenue and North 1st Street in Williamsburg. Since 1987, BARK's no-kill shelter has given a safe haven to homeless pets. So what can you do? There are always volunteer opportunities, like walking the dogs, hanging out with the cats, or clucking with the chickens. Yes, chickens. Rob Vasquez, a longtime BARK devotee and animal keeper since 1998, tells us a little more about the mission of the shelter. I know a lot about shelters and the adoption process. What makes a no-kill shelter different from other shelters?
Well, with our shelter, it gives more animals more chances to find homes, and plus, since we're no-kill, that means we don't put any animals to sleep.
Tell us about some of the animals here that are long-term residents. I think this guy's one.
Well, this one's Woody. Woody's one of the long-time residents. He's been here at least 3 or 4 years now. Found in Park Slope, looking like, big tumbleweed, and that's why we called him Woody. And, at his age, at 14, almost 15, it's kind of hard to find someone that's going to give this dog a home, because eventually the dog might pass away and that will break someone's heart. And we have Brain that's wandering around somewhere in here. It's also, she's been here for at least 4 or 5 years. But in our situation, you really can't find someone that will take care of an animal that's been crippled.
It's no surprise in New York City, there are animal lovers with big hearts who have opened their homes to older paws, or injured companions, or in the case of our pigeon friend here, broken wings. And it's all thanks to the help of the volunteers that get them back up to speed. In fact, Bark counts on the volunteer efforts of animal lovers to run the day-to-day operations.
As in every guy that walked in off the street, what can I do to help you as a volunteer?
As a volunteer, if you're not into adopting right now, you can come in and help us walk some of our dogs. And you can also come and socialize with the cats, help wash the kennel, water the sidewalk. The interaction between humans and animals is what's more important, because we don't want the animals to get used to only seeing us. We want other people to see them too, and the more that the animals see other people, the better the reaction when they get adopted. We basically need a lot of volunteers to keep us going.
I don't have a cat. What does it mean to socialize a cat?
Well, socializing with cat means like, hand-to-hand interaction, like, actually brushing the cat, feeding them by hand. So our thing is when we get animals, we want to make sure they find homes, and the only way that they'll work in people's homes if you do hand-to-hand, like, socialization, like, affection, giving the cats affection, rubs, scratches.
So how does a shelter in Brooklyn wind up with chickens?
A lot of people in this neighborhood, especially in the south side, keep chickens, they like fresh eggs. When the chickens can't have eggs anymore, or gets too unruly in its own, like, on the coop, people will dump them. And since people think we're an animal shelter, they don't understand that we specialize only in dogs and cats. So you end up with them here.
And whether it's chickens and roosters, dogs and cats, or any species for that matter, they're all cared for with the same level of attention.
So let's talk about the benefits for the volunteers. They're spending time with animals, they're getting some exercise.
Well, the volunteers benefit in a way, like, not only intellectually, they get to learn more about shelters, and it's kind of good for people to know about animals, flights of animals, where they go, and how they end up in places like this. So it gives them better understanding, being more compassionate with animals. And other than that, the experience just like playing with animals that you don't have to take home with you.
And man, do I love this guy. Woody is the most adorable senior Yorkshire Terrier I've ever seen. Come to think of it, these teacup-sized kittens are super sweet too. All this makes helping these little guys pretty irresistible. So what about a volunteer coming off the street? Do you qualify? Come here.
Everybody qualifies. You necessarily don't have to have experience. As long as you know that you can be good with animals, and you can handle animals well, then you can come and volunteer with us.
Volunteering with the animals at Bark doesn't cost a thing. Just some of your time and compassion. Happy tails, everyone. The way I see it, chickens make more sense on the farm. And back at the Queens County farm, there are nearly 200 heirloom variety chickens. And there's lots the public can learn about life in the flock. Where there are real chickens, you're bound to find something else.
We're getting fresh eggs every day. People actually come in before noon and take like a deli card to get in line to get the eggs.
And someone's got to collect those eggs. Today that's my job, since the regular volunteer has the day off. Luckily, there's no feisty roosters around to keep me out, and the hens seem pretty cooperative.
If you'll notice, one of the cool things, the eggs here are all different colors: white, green, pink, brown.
The color of the eggs is determined by genetics, not what they eat. And even though they look different, they all taste exactly the same. Think of how easy Easter eggs can be. Just boil.
Thank you. Thank you. How about you? You got any?
Reaching under these warm chickens sure makes me want an omelet.
I think that's it. Well, that's a heck of a lot of chicken eggs. And it's still warm.
I may not make it to the top of the pecking order around here, but at least I get to collect eggs at a hen house with a New York City zip code. Learn how to bring the farm to your table at the Queens County Farm Museum. New York City animal life includes big and furry farm animals, but let's try not to forget some of the little guys who are working really hard for us too. Just a 10-minute bus ride from the Staten Island ferry terminal, you can reach a hidden gem of New York City, Snug Harbor Cultural Center. Tucked away in the 83 sprawling acres of gardens, historic buildings, and sculptural ponds, you can spy the red barn of the Snug Harbor Heritage Farm. Since 1880, the farm has been producing fresh vegetables and is still a working organic farm. And that wouldn't be possible without these hard-working animals, red wiggler worms. Today, Andrew Blancero is on site from the New York City Compost Project to show some curious minds the magic these squirmy animals make in the earth.
Now, I want to show you one of them. This is the red wiggler worm. This is the one that does all the awesome transformation. And I say it's a transformation because they eat stuff that you would throw away and they turn it into compost. You guys know what I mean by compost? This stuff is just vermicompost. Look at that. Look at how nice and wet it is. It's so dark like that. That helps feed plants. That helps hold the energy from the sun. And you see how it's a little wet? It helps hold onto water for the plants. So they love this.
The kids aren't the only ones learning here at Snug Harbor today. For one thing, who knew that it's actually the worms that help transform scraps into rich compost? Now let's see who's brave enough to actually hold one.
I want to show everybody a red wiggler worm. And you are all going to get a chance to hold one, but the rule is flat palm. You don't have to if you don't want to. The rule is a flat palm and nobody squeeze. You see how he's stretching like that? You want to just take a look? You could poke very gently, just like that. No? That's okay. She's not sure. She's not sure. How about you? You could just touch it if you want. No? How about you? You could just touch. No?
I can't say I blame them.
I'm gonna put it right in your palm. Is that nice? Now, one of the reasons we work with these red wigglers is that they eat so much. They eat half of their weight every single day. Some people call them tiger worms. They almost look like they have stripes. Can you see? And that's because you could see the food in their bellies moving along. How cool is that?
Like it did 100 years ago, Snug Harbor has been planting and growing, and now they're also educating the next generation on keeping the soil healthy. And it sure sounds to me like someone was paying attention.
Now, what's the important job that the red wiggler worms do?
Eat, and then they turn it into compost.
And why is compost important?
Because it makes the plants grow.
Now, how many of you guys think you're going to go home and keep worms as pets?
Ew! Ew!
But think about it. If you had a bunch of worms, maybe in your bedroom, then your floor would look like this, and then you could plant lettuce.
Dad, you don't plant lettuce on the ground in your house.
So did you guys have a lot of fun checking out these worms and learning about compost?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me. How about a high five? Can I get a high five from everyone? Way in the back.
You and the family can enjoy the beautiful grounds of Snug Harbor for free, made beautiful, of course, with the help of red wiggler worms. When I've got a few extra bucks to spend, I call my friend and concierge to the stars, Michael Fazio, and we call this the Splurge.
Hello, it's Michael.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, Dave Evans.
Okay, so here's my mission today. We're doing an episode all about animals.
Animals.
And I'm looking for something really unique, not the obvious.
You know what? I think that a place I have in mind is the perfect solution because it gives you a chance to be with the animals, but in a setting that is just nothing you would expect to find in New York. I mean, this is like out of a movie.
Like a movie? I'm very intrigued. I'm going to
Text you the address. I'm going to jump into some boots, and I say you do the same thing, and I'll see you there.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll see you there. Okay. Huh. Like a movie.
On the eastbound side of Brooklyn's busy Belt Parkway, you'll find the unexpected equine world of Jamaica Bay Riding Academy. Bordering the busy thoroughfare and Gateway National Park, this family-owned facility has been serving horses and their masters since 1972, providing lessons, competitions, training, and boarding. Anthony Danza grew up riding here.
We have horses in our family now for 4 generations. My father's been on a horse for over 73 years, and I've been on a horse for over 50 years. And it's gone that way throughout the generations in our family. We've been around horses our entire life. And it became a dream of my father to be able to have a facility where not only our neighborhood can enjoy it, but the family can enjoy it. It kept the family very close, being able to all go out riding together.
It's a really special thing.
Yes, it is, and it's really enjoyable to have in the family.
For people who are not around horses often, we interact with dogs and cats much more regularly, but a horse is a massive animal.
As any animal person should be aware, if you are comfortable with your animals, there is a certain serenity that you can get from whether it's a horse or a dog or any type of animal. They're probably one of the more kinder animals that you can get yourself involved with, and I think the only reason why people are intimidated by this is because of their size, but their size really has nothing to do with what goes on in their brain. They're wonderful to get along with.
Tell me what it costs to come for a trail ride here.
Well, you can start out with a trail ride at $37 per person for approximately a 40-minute tour of the facility on top of a horse.
That's a splurge for us, but that is such an affordable thing to do for the experience that you're having.
And you will never believe that you're in Brooklyn, New York.
I already can't believe it.
I think it's time for Michael and I to get on some horses.
I don't know.
So this is Picasso.
Picasso.
Ellen Kizlewski is a trainer at Jamaica Bay, and she'll be the one entrusted with teaching this novice.
Hi, Picasso.
So you want to put both hands here. You don't want to put your foot in the stirrup. You just want to swing your right leg over.
Okay.
Can you reach?
Come on, confidence, Dave.
I'm confident.
Confident? Sure. But what do I do now?
If you squeeze or you hang on with your legs, that tells them to go. So constantly press your heels down and just keep your feet off of his sides.
Got it.
I'll be right back, so hang out right here.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what not to do. Your turn, Michael.
So this is Rembrandt.
Thank you. Another fine piece of art. You know
So
what?
yes,
Skinny
swing.
jeans are tough to swing a leg around.
You got one?
Is there one height higher? Thank you.
Like the Lone Ranger and Tonto. Can you tell who's the city slicker here?
So we're with 2 fine artists right now. Rembrandt and Picasso.
Well, they're paint horses.
Oh,
So
Is that
they would be famous paint. This one's shorter.
it's good.
the horses paint, or is that their color?
It's a color, it's a breed technically.
Ah. So what's go, what's brakes?
Okay, so pull back to stop,
Stop.
left to go left, right to go right, kick to go.
Okay.
So just give a little kick.
Come on.
Or cluck,
Yeah.
and aim right at my
See you
tail.
later.
Brakes is back, yeah?
Brakes is pulled towards you.
The trails at Jamaica Bay Riding Academy are part of a Gateway National Wildlife Preserve and are comprised of over 400 acres of manicured, wooded trails, and from what I hear, some pretty prime waterfront riding. All right in Brooklyn. But my current issue is keeping up with the other 2. I think Picasso's looking for a relaxing stroll. Maybe I'm just not the cowboy I think I am.
Okay. When you see the reactions of people from the city taking horseback rides in the 5 boroughs, what is that reaction?
It's funny to see city people out here because it is like the country. You wouldn't imagine that something like this is in Brooklyn. I grew up in the woods, so to me it's like a piece of home. But for New Yorkers, they come out here and it's more like a haven, It's like a utopia amongst, the urban jungle.
Now, Dave, this makes the splurge-tastic.
Oh, you've
Check
got
this
to
out.
be kidding me.
I'm thinking that we could go at a full gallop.
Yeah, I think you should definitely go at a full gallop, Michael.
Is this someplace where people have come to do like a marriage proposal or anything really romantic like
Yeah,
that?
all the time.
See, I love stuff like that. Just the whole horse on the beach kind of thing cries out diamond ring.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael, I'm wondering if we could go full out jousting for an extra few bucks.
I bet we can arrange just about anything. It's New York.
Well, Ellen, thank you so much. This is really fantastic. Michael, good job with this one.
You got it. Worth it, huh?
Absolutely worth it. And if you want to ride a horse on the beach in Brooklyn, for more information on the Jamaica Bay Riding Academy, check this out. Good job, Picasso.
Come on, guys.
I'll bring up the rear.
All right.
Trail rides are a bit of a splurge, but the experience is priceless.
So we've had a great time at the Queens County Farm Museum today, but let's recap all the ways you can experience animals around New York City.
Visit the city's biggest little zoo in Staten Island, just $8 for adults and $5 for kids. Help make a dog's day while he waits for a new home at the Brooklyn Animal Resource Coalition. Learn about composting at Snug Harbor Cultural Center absolutely free. For a splurge, see the beaches of New York on a big and gentle four-legged friend at Jamaica Bay Riding Academy. Or spend a day with all kinds of farm critters at the Queens County Farm Museum, absolutely free.
All right, Gary, let's go for a ride. So it just goes to show you don't have to spend a ton of money to have a great time in New York City. You just got to get out there and do it. For $9.99, I'm Dave Evans, and I'll see you next time.
One of them farted on us.
Yeah, I think quite a few of them continue to fart, but that guy got you. This season on $9.99, we're gonna be on the move. Oh boy. Oh boy, you weren't happy about that one. New Yorkers love it. Oh, Ross, you screwed it up.
My thumb just went up your nose by accident. I'm sorry.
We've had a great time here at the Queens County Farm Museum, but let's recap.